Hey, I'm Luke and welcome to part 2 of my Macageddon SE30 series. This is the final part. This is going to be my last video for 2025 and this will be the video where we'll complete the SE30 restoration that we started all the way back in October and get it up on the shelf. There it is up there, working really well. So let's see what it takes to get that SE30 working fully. Stick around. Today what I'm actually going to do is I've got the logic board out of the chassis again and I'm going to check my work that I did on the weekend when I was up in Sydney at the Mac-a-geddon event, and I put all of these capacitors on with my naked eyes. I am not 100% convinced I did the best job I could have done, so I want to double check it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check these out and just under the microscope so we can see what needs to be tidied up. Board is working perfectly fine though, so whatever I did, it's working well. Also, I've got out, I showed in the last video that I'd actually 3D printed a new case for the BlueSCSI. So this is the BlueSCSI 1, which, I mean, I could put a BlueSCSI 2 in this, but I've got plenty of parts for BlueSCSI 1, so for purposes of what I need this Mac SE30 to do, BlueSCSI 1 works perfectly fine. And so yeah, I've got this 3D printed frame that replaces this one, which is the metal one that goes in it. And as you can see, it's actually quite a bit shorter. If I hold them up the same way, you can see there. Where's the lights? There you go. They've both got the lights up in the top corner. Doesn't have this extra long bit, which, I mean, I don't need it because we're not putting a spinning hard drive in this anymore. And this makes it really hard to get the power cord out of the logic board. So yeah, I 3D printed this up. It works really well in the case. And I've also got this BlueSCSI 1 3D print that I've put on there and just secured with 2 screws. Doesn't need all 4 really, it's just sitting there perfectly fine. And I also put an LED on it and wired that up on the BlueSCSI, so it's got a resistor there, and that acts as a activity light. And it's a blue one. I know normally the SE30 is this one is a yellow light. But because I put a BlueSCSI in there, I put a little blue light bulb in there. So we'll put that back in there as well. And the other thing I'm going to do is I've got one of these, which is a CR2032 toaster. Essentially allows me to put a battery holder on here. And then I can insert one of these batteries, coin cell batteries in there, so that it'll keep time. So I want to put that together and put that in there and then put it all back in the frame, and then we'll let it test and run. Oh, actually, there is actually one extra thing I need to do, which I just almost forgot. I want to wash the board. I mentioned last time that when it runs for a while, I get that sort of fishy capacitor smell. So I think the board does have some capacitor juice still on it, and that seems to start smelling when it's a bit warm. So I've heated up my ultrasonic cleaner there, and I'm going to give it a clean. So the first thing to do though is to bring on my microscope, and let's have a look and see how good my repairs were or how bad they were, one or the other. Okay, here we go. So let's have a look. One thing I actually just noticed when I was looking in here, I mentioned in one of the earlier videos that this is one of the earlier boards that had like a factory done bodge wire in here. And you can actually see here, there's the bodge wire there. And interesting enough, that trace that it's obviously connected to is, they obviously designed it to, they must have originally going to have a trace there, and then they removed it and instead put these bodge wires in, which then I assume they fixed. And it goes down to, where does it go? It goes to the UI6 chip on this section of the board down here. Whereas, interesting enough, that trace goes to the UH7 chip. So obviously they changed something. All right, let's have a look. Let's start looking at some of these capacitors. Let's start with this one up here. Capacitor 1. Well, look, it's not the best job I've ever seen in my life, but it's not the worst. It seems okay. It's not too bad. This one, capacitor 12. That looks okay, as does that side. 13. Let's have a look at that. And tell you what, I look like I melted the bases of these capacitors a bit when I put them on. I was doing this with my naked eye, so it was kind of hard work. I think that one side's all right as well. I mean, obviously these are all making connections because the board fully tests, perfectly working. All right, now over here with capacitor 4 and capacitor 3. I feel like I've missed that one completely. Jeez, hold on, that one there. So they look okay, those sides of it. But that side there, focus, 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 focus. I mean, it's definitely making a connection, but it's crooked. And there's the leg, so it's really only just making a connection. I think I need to fix that one. So capacitor 3 we need to fix. I mean, that one probably could be better. C3 and C5. I feel like he's only just holding on that side as well. Yeah, that one looks okay. And then, I mean, I could redo all of these, but I don't actually really want to. I don't want to mess with this too much because they're obviously working. Oh dear, that one there, C8. That's again, that one's not. It's obviously connected, but it's not great. Like, it's a bit shoddy. Not my best work. And then we've got one more out here. Next to the old UE8. He looks okay. So I think really I want to redo C3, C5, and C8 at least. So I'm going to pull them off. The other thing I want to do is I want to look at this big ass capacitor. Now, I never replaced these. When I test this on with my multimeter, it does not give me 470 UF. Now, that could just be because it's in circuit at the moment. But when I look at the side of it, like if you can just see, it looks a bit cruddy. Now, these don't normally... There we go, look at that. These ones on these SE30s don't generally seem to leak, but I also think the board seems to work without them, so I'm feeling like that one maybe could do with a replace. So I want to pull that off and put a new one on. The other one that's on here, which I don't know if I can get the camera up high enough on this microscope. Oh, there we go. That one doesn't look too bad. But I might replace it anyway. So, because I've got a spare one of that. I've got, what I've done, that one I just showed. So I've got an axial replacement capacitor for that. It's the last one of that I've got. I don't have one for those 470 UF one. So what I'm going to do is to essentially chop this capacitor on its leads and resolder a new one to the other one, just as a temporary measure until I can order in and get a replacement axial. Unfortunately, the axial ones just come in really expensive. What I've done is I've got this normal capacitor here, and I've just bent the legs so that they're basically behaving like an axial. And I can just insert that on there, and it'll kind of look like an axial. It won't look too different, but it won't be exactly what it needs to be. All right, so now I need to get these ones off the board. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these off, but I could use some heat to get these off, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do the same process that I did to remove the faulty ones and effectively sacrifice these new capacitors that I put on in this location, C3, C4, C5, sorry, and the C8 one, which I think are the ones that are looking the most not really properly attached. Now my normal approach for getting capacitors off is just to use a pair of cutters and just cut them like that, in line with the connections, so that it doesn't too much pressure. See, that's already snapped off the board. And then what that allows me to do, I mean, normally on a worn out capacitor, this is really easy to get off then. But you can then just pull the whole thing off. You can break the plastic in half. And now I just need to clean those pads and get rid of the rest of that. Just means I don't have to expose too much of the board to too much heat. All right, so I'm going to do this one. And alright. Last one I'll do is this one here. Geez, you can see how much when I put these on, I really badly melted the plastic base. All right, now we just need to clean them up a bit. Okay, so now we've got 3 nicely cleaned up capacitors ready for the new surface mount capacitors. Now I'm just going to trim this big beastie off and just leave enough of his leg. Ultimately, I will probably replace this with a nice axial one, but not today because I don't have one. So I'll just leave the legs there. Now I'm actually curious to test this capacitor because, like I said, when I look at it, it could just be junk from years of just sitting in there, or it could be it's actually leaked. Let's test it, shall we? 482. This was perfectly fine. So I just chopped him off for no reason. Well, that's a sad state of affairs for that capacitor. Anyway, the other one, I'm just going to trim him off as well. Now this one is a 220, 217, also fine. It's amazing, those the capacitors on these boards just seem to never die. At least the ones that I've seen. So now what this does leave us with is a little bit of a dilemma. We need to get the legs of this one out because it's a through hole one, and I do actually have a proper axial that I can install on this one. So I now need to try and get this out. And these can be sometimes a bit of a bugger. That one there looks okay. It's definitely solder's gone all the way through. This one, not so much. So I'm gonna just try and solder him a little bit from this side. I'm just gonna do is buzz that one. It's the negative, so I assume it's on the ground plane. Oh yeah. Yep. It is connected. I hate these through-hole ones. Anyway, that's that one done. Now I will turn my attention to this beastie and my little bodgy job that I'm going to do with this. Okay, so now for this, which one's this? Capacitor 2. I've obviously got this one, which is a radial. And I've just bent the pins around. The positive pin there is bent so that I can basically just attach it on here. So it'll kind of look like a radial. Eventually I might actually swap this out and get a proper radial in here. They're just really, really expensive and I don't generally buy them very often. I have had them before in my stock of capacitors. I just don't have any of them now, but I will order some in next time and decide whether I want to replace it. But this one will just work fine. All I'm going to do is just squeeze a bit of, if I can do this with one hand, go on there. Flux on there, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of solder on my tip of my soldering iron, and then all we need to do is get this other one, stick him on there like that, and repeat the process. And then basically I have an axial capacitor, well, a radial capacitor looking like an axial. And I'll just trim off that extra bit of the leg. That's it. So now kind of looks like an axial rather than a radial. Now we've done those two, let's do these ones. Now I've got some new surface mount caps to replace the ones I just chopped off. Basically the same type. Okay, they're all on. I think in an ideal world I would have pulled all of them off and basically redone them. And to be honest, I feel like I probably would have put tantalums on here. I've generally used tantalums, and I don't know, I feel like I'm just more used to putting them on and I find them easier. But these probably look more original. That one is way out of alignment with the other two. Just does not look straight. I actually think I'm going to redo that one because it is just really badly out of line. There you go. With it off now, you can see how out of alignment it was. It was very much only just holding on for dear life there, and hardly even there. Okay, that's that one now better. Certainly more straight now with the rest of them on the board. So what I'm just going to do is quickly test this out now and see whether it still works. Make sure I haven't damaged anything by changing them all out. And then we'll pop it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I don't think you're going to need much because it's very, very clean already, this board. So probably just a short 10-minute little journey, I think, in there will do it nicely. All right, to test this out, now I have my K-Mac Vintage little tester board here that allows me to essentially plug this in without having to put it back in the chassis, and it's just run off a Pico ATX power supply and goes to a HDMI out. Will make this much easier for me to quickly test. I've got a speaker cable here. Just need to plug that directly into the speaker so that we can hear whether it chimes or not. And I'll just attach that over on that metal thing there because it's got a magnet on the back of it. And then this just plugs in like that. And now this just goes to my bench power supply, so I just need to give it 12 volts. Let's make sure that's off, which it is. And attach to these and make sure they do not touch, because that would result in sparky sparks. And now we just plug in the HDMI cable like that. So I'm just going to plug external BlueSCSI in like that. And we'll go back and let's give it some power again. All right, so we chimed again. And it's booting. Excellent. I have not broken it. That's good. That's what we wanted. Okay, so, yep. It's seen its full 5 megs of memory that it's got built in at the moment. Again, ignore the artifacts. That's just something to do with how this Jet KVM works with this old computer. Let's just test the sound out, shall we? Excellent. SCSI probe. Yep. Looks good. So I think the next step is now to give this a good clean. That should hopefully... Oh, that's weird. Why did that show off the screen like that? Yeah, no network. That's probably to be expected. Just quit that. And do that again. I have no idea why that's showing off screen like that. It's almost like it thinks the resolution's bigger. Anyway. Alright, so let's shut this beastie down. And detach everything. This is really great for testing. It just means you don't have to do all the stuffing around, get it back in its case, plug it in, make sure it's working, and then find something's wrong and you have to do the whole thing again. It just means you can just very easily test it out. And that obviously works on the SC and the SC30. Now, in order to clean this, I'm actually going to take the memory out of it and the ROM. I just want it to go through the ultrasonic cleaner with those out. So I'm just going to very carefully remove these, because these plastic clips tend to be a bit fragile at this age. So it is somewhat risky to remove the memory, but just take it easy. It generally comes out all right. There we go. Helps to have a little bit of fingernails when you're doing this too. There we go. So they're the, what are they? That must be the 256K chips. Now the 1 mega chips. I sometimes would actually clean the memory as well, but I don't think I will in this case, because this actually looks pretty nice and clean. I'm pretty happy with the way that capacitor is sitting on there. I don't know whether I will bother to replace it. It just depends. I'll water some in and see whether the mood takes me at some point. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could take out all of these socketed chips and the CPU and give that a big clean. But most of it, really what I want to do is it just to clean all around where I've changed all these capacitors and where there was potential leakage. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to put a little bit of Kapton tape over the barcode label, because ideally I would like that to stay there. It may not. Sometimes the ultrasonic cleaner just causes these stickers to come off. I'll just put that over that, like that. So a bit of tape there like that. Will just hopefully stop the sticker from getting damaged. Not too worried about those stickers. Yep, okay, I think we're good. This can go in and have a bit of a clean. We'll fast forward now and see what this looks like once it's had its clean and test it out. So this will be a bit of a jump cut now to see it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then eventually, hopefully all nice and clean and able to run again. Okay, so here we are in the ultrasonic cleaner. Mine is a 10-litre one, doesn't quite fit the SE30 board, so you can see I've got to run it twice, just sort of to get the whole surface of the board. This is sped up a little bit, so giving it a good shake there. Now I'm going to put some isopropyl alcohol on it, give it a good swish around. It helps to sort of get rid of all the water off the board. And here it is now, sitting here, drying out on the bench. Okay, so it is now been a couple of days. This is all now very nice and clean. It's come up really well. Like, I mean, this board was in really good condition already, but it now looks brand spanking new, basically, apart from just a couple of little kind of like sort of aged, rusty sort of spots on this metal chassis bit. But yeah, so now the next step I want to do is basically put the memory back in it and actually test and see whether it works still, which fingers crossed, hopefully it does. Hope we haven't done anything by ultrasonically cleaning it. And obviously put the ROM back in there as well. And then once I've tested that, I'm going to make up the toaster battery adapter and put that in there, and then it can go back in the case. So let's do that now. Okay, so memory and ROM are all back in, no problems there, that looks good. So I'm just going to get my power adapter and we'll plug her in and see whether it's going to work. Just put the speaker cable in first. That. And then get that, there we go, push that down on there like that. Pop the speaker up there so that it's nice and out of the way. We'll just spin this board around so those power cables are pointing towards where my power source is. Plug my BlueSCSI into it. There we go. Now we'll just connect the power source up here. Actually, I will also just plug a mouse in so that we've got that ready, assuming this is going to work. Now I'll just bring up my Jet KVM on the screen so everyone can see. There we go. I think we're ready to go. Give this some power. So 1, 2, 3, power. And it chimed. Oh. Yep, here it comes. Yep, it's booting. We've got a mouse pointer. Mouse pointer moves. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Happy Mac was there very quickly, and now we've got a welcome to Macintosh, so this is looking good. I think this looks like a successful recap and ultrasonic cleaning. Very happy about this. Okay, it's up and seeing the full 5 megs of memory that's on there at the moment. That looks good. Get some flying toasters action happening there. There we go. Definitely a successful cleaning and recapping. So that's good. So now the next step is to make this little toaster so that I can actually put a CR2032 battery on it, and it'll be that way. It'll keep its settings and time and stuff like that. So let's do that now. So first of all, just shut this down and get this out of the way for the minute. Obviously, these artifacts that you're seeing on the screen here are actually nothing to worry about. It's just because of this screen capture that I'm using. If I do something big enough, it will clear those. There we go. See, I do that, it clears it. Shut down. When it goes back in the actual Mac, it won't be doing that problem anymore. All right, let's disconnect this for the minute. And let's put this battery adapter together. So there we go, that looks good. That's a successful little toaster. I really like these things. These are really handy. You don't have to buy the expensive half AA batteries. And they're also less likely to explode at some point and do a whole stack of damage to the logic board, which is obviously what these things are notoriously known for, getting damaged by exploding batteries. So yeah, it's just a, like I said, a CR2032, and this I basically this is what the CR2032 toaster was, version 1.3. I basically just downloaded that off GitHub and got them printed. I think I got them printed at PCBWay or something like that. Then I just make them when I need them. And it just means that this thing will keep its time, its memory, all its PRAM settings basically. I'm just going to now test this in here, now that it's actually in the computer. Negative, positive, yep, that way. Yep, 3.2. Maybe probably doesn't last quite as long as the original lithium batteries that were in these, but big whoop. This computer's not doing much. Put that back on there so it's nice and complete. And that's it. Okay, let's turn back on our Jet KVM and give this some power. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, power. Okay, we're up and running. Just again, ignore that artifacts there. There we go. It'll correct itself. So one utility I find now that I've got a battery in this that is really handy is this PRAM 5 utility. It just allows you to set all of the settings in the PRAM from within this interface. So you can go and change things like the volume clicks, and basically it allows you to change it directly. and see what values are in there. So I can basically, the main thing I actually use it for is really just setting the time. So I need to plug a keyboard in. So just let me just plug this into the other ADB port. You can see here the time at the moment is 1904. Now, if I was to try and set the time at the moment on this, I think I would struggle. So if I go control panels, I can set the time, I just can't set the date. Date and time. Oh, probably because I need to do it under date formats. Show century. And let's make this Australian day, month, year. And go like that. Now if I go, let's do 2025. See what happens? It just doesn't work. I think you can go up to about 2000 and, well, let's just see. 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There, so up to 2019, and then it resets to 1920. And obviously that depends on the version of the system that you're running. And obviously at the moment this is running 7.1. So, but this PRAM utility, regardless of what the operating system can do, allows you to set it correctly. And it looks like it's good to be able to set up to 2040. I don't know what happens after 2040. It's probably just we're stuffed, but we've got another 15 years. So I can now go in here and type 2025. Let's put the proper date in, which today is the 22nd. Oops, that's the month, 11th. 22nd of November, and the time is currently 17:56. And let's reset that to, let's say about 20 seconds. Set time. There you go. So it now correctly knows it's Saturday, and it's the 22nd of the 11th, 2025. So it's just a handy utility. It allows you to set the time correctly. So, and now that we've got a battery in this computer will remember that setting. So that's it. I'm going to now put all of this back in the case. And then test it out again in its proper chassis. Okay, so there we have it. It is back in its case and looking pretty good. This camera is causing that flicker in there, but everything else actually looks really good. I've just got to put these little black power, shield protectors back into the board, and then we can put the cover back on. So looking good. I need to shut it down now though. Now before I put the cover back on, I'll just talk about this mount that I'm using in here. Obviously this, I mentioned this before, this is the 3D printed hard drive mount that I'm using. I'll include a link in the video description to the 3D model that I printed for this, as well as the one for the BlueSCSI 1 that I've currently got in here. The only issue I've had with this is that I needed to actually replace this cable with a slightly longer one. So I had to find a SCSI cable that's a little bit longer than the normal one that comes in here. And that's just because of the orientation of the 50 pin plug there. And in the logic board, there's no way to get it to correctly go. It basically, if I turned this around, possibly it would be less of a problem, although that would then put the plug on this side, and I think it would be too much of a stretch. The cable that they had in here was really designed for a hard drive that is connecting from this side and only has a short amount of travel down there. So it's all right. I've actually bought plugs and some of this ribbon cable from JCar, so I can make my own of these when I need them. So this is just a slightly longer one than what would normally be in there. But I really like this. It's just a lot cleaner than this this big one that it comes with. And it basically cuts off this part here. So it makes it much easier to get into the power and pull the cord out of the logic board and stuff. I'll hold on to this just in case I ever need it. But like I said before, it's a really good model, a 3D model. The light works really well on it. It's really good, and obviously it would work for a BlueSCSI 2 as well. So, all right, let's get the case back on it. All right, case is back on. Let's plug the power back into it. If I find the power switch. Oh, interesting. Now that I put the case on, it's quivering. It's interesting. I haven't had analog board issues for a while, but now, oh, maybe it was just a brief. It seems to have stabilized. It's one thing to watch, I think, with this. I'm still occasionally seeing weird quivers, so I still think there might be some more work to do on the analog board, but I'm going to run it now for a while and give it a good solid test, particularly now with the case back on. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. And obviously, like I mentioned before, if I just restart it again, the LED that I put in here is a blue one, just because it's got a BlueSCSI. So rather than the normal yellow, you can see there it's just flashing a little blue LED. I like blue LEDs, basically. So there we go. That is back together. That is probably going to do this for a little while now. I've got some other stuff that I want to work on. So I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. It looks like my battery's working as well. The clock is still set correctly, and so is the date. And let's just try out the floppy and see if that's still working as well. Yep, there it is, loaded up. Nothing on there. Let's just copy something on this, shall we? What are we going to copy? Let's just go into this folder and let's copy the PRAM 5 utility over there. Yep, it's working. Excellent. And one other thing we should do is set the system sound now that we've got a battery in there, rather than just having the default ding. I feel like it needs Maybe some sashimi or wild ape. Maybe an ape. Actually, I think the quack. The quack can be the one. There we go. So it's all done for the moment, I think. So yeah, this... Oh shit, we didn't eject the floppy drive. Let's just do that. Good. My cog's still working that I 3D printed for that. So that's good as well. All right. So that is going to bring to an end my videos on the Macageddon SE30 for the moment. The next thing that I do want to do with this case, this Mac, is actually the case. I want to basically, like, it's obviously quite yellow. So I want to basically try and retrobrite it. It also needs to be cleaned up. Like you can see here, it's got stickers and sticky stickers up the top there. So I will actually dismantle this again and take all of the components out of it and basically take it into my sink inside the house and give it a really, really good clean and try and get all of these stickers off it. There's one that's coming off now. And then I think once that's I've got that all nice and clean, I'm going to actually try retrobriting the case because it's quite yellow. I don't mind the yellow, but I'd probably rather it look a little bit more beigey than yellow. This case is in pretty good condition, so I'm hoping that it'll clean up, it'll retrobrite pretty well. I've done this a little bit. Now that we're coming into Australia summertime, it's November at the moment, obviously summer is just a week away basically. It's actually really good timing because we're starting to get the warm weather and days of sun, although it's been raining quite a bit lately, so I'll have to pick my day. But I had some pretty good success last year with what did I do? I think that one, that Mac Classic 2 that you can see up there with the flying toasters on at the moment. I retrobrited that one, as well as that SE30 right there. That was really yellow, that one. So they come up really good actually. I used the vapor technique for retrobriting. So I will give that a try. I might do a couple of shorts videos and put them up while I'm doing it so that you can end up seeing what the end result is. But otherwise, I think for the moment, this thing is going to spend a few days just sitting, running and letting it test out just to make sure it's all nice and stable. But I think we're done. So thanks for watching. I've got some more videos planned over the next few weeks, so keep an eye on my channel. And yeah, if you've got any feedback or suggestions or anything you'd like to know, please leave me some comments. Appreciate any likes or any comments that you want to give me. And I'm scratching the sticker stuff off. But yeah, I am quite enjoyed the whole experience of the Macageddon SE30. It's nice to get this one working really well. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.